Hi, my name is Lauren and welcome to my digital presentation for Edf5036. The assessment task created in Assignment 1 requires students to use their knowledge and skills of graphic text learned over the 6 learning activities to produce their own graphic text. The lesson success criteria requires students to produce an original piece of 1 to 2 pages in length. And it also needs to follow a linear sequence, include panel design to impact the story, the correct use of speech bubbles, thought bubbles and onomatopoeia, and also the students will be required to reflect on their martial arts immersion to inspire their character development, storyline and artwork. A part of the assessment is creating a rough draft. The student has handed in a rough plan on time as they've been able to receive feedback from a peer and make edits based on this feedback. However, the edits made lack depth, which is why the mark received is a 3. When looking at the completed text, we can see that the student has used panel design to impact the story. The text is well organised into speech and thought bubbles, and they have correctly used onomatopoeia for the most part. However, there is some text that hasn't been organised correctly, and it seems that the student has overcompensated with the size of the windows in the beginning, not leaving room for a more in-depth ending. The overall organisation of the material is minimally flawed, therefore receiving a mark of 3. The student's graphic text shows a large amount of originality, supported by the artwork, and the story idea is creative and inventive, clearly following the original plan created, therefore receiving a mark of 4. The student includes essential knowledge about the topic of graphic text, such as panel design, artwork, linear storyline, and thought and speech bubbles. Their knowledge appears good, however there are 1 to 2 errors, such as not organising or using incorrect graphics for characters talking or thinking within the text. Due to these errors, the student is marked a 2. Overall, the student shows good literacy skills, however there are fewer than 3 misspellings or grammatical errors in the text, so I have marked them a 3 for mechanics. The student has successfully met all aspects of the success criteria. The panel design impacts the story through the shrinking and expanding of windows, and the artwork and colour used is clever and enhances the story's impact further. There is sufficient use of speech and thought bubbles and onomatopoeia. The story follows a linear sequence which makes it easy to follow. The student has been able to reflect on their martial arts to develop a main character that shows mental strength, different stances, and attacking and defending movements in a comical way to steal the muffins. I used Canva to create my digital presentation. I found it really simple to use. The only challenge that I came into contact with was that I couldn't use background audio, and I did have to either upgrade or use a free trial to do that, which I did do, and I think that enhanced the presentation. Also, I wasn't able to time my images to come onto screen with certain points that I was talking about, which would have made it a bit more seamless and easy to follow, but in saying that, they weren't big challenges to overcome. The choice of how we integrated the health and PE content into the activity sequence I think could have been more relevant to the task, such as doing a mindful activity and relating drawing and reading to that and how it benefits mental health. Also, I think throughout this critique, it became clear that we did lack acknowledgement of the 3 curriculum areas in the rubric. However, we did still have them in the success criteria, so that did help when marking. Overall, I believe my knowledge and understanding of how the curriculum areas can be combined to facilitate learning has grown, and it is a skill that I will draw upon in my future teaching endeavours, as well as working collaboratively with an open mind.